JJ Bhattacharjee, of course, viewers, the bilateral meeting has begun and we're getting some updates from inside. Prime Minister Modi has said India and Russia ties are examples of Putin's vision. This is what the Prime Minister of our country has said. He's further said India is on the side of peace. An issue that has been raised by Prime Minister Modi to Russian President Putin while they were talking about the Ukraine war as well. So once again, India has reiterated its position. It's been the same position for the past 4 years that India is on the side of peace. JJ Bhattacharjee, I bring you into the conversation as well. JJ, once again, we've reiterated that we're on the side of peace. And as Shal Kohli was pointing out, that the sanctions, yes, are irritating. But how do we move towards creating a relationship with Russia that is strong, stable and growing regardless of sanctions, whether there are sanctions or not? We don't want, yes, the sanctions open up newer avenues, surely. And both Russia and India have tapped into the possibilities that were opened up once those sanctions from the West came in. But how do we now move forward to an era where, whether there are sanctions or not, our relationship is not dependent on any of those external factors?
Right, Devika, in fact, the three words that you use, which is strong, stable, and growing, for the relationship between Russia and India, has actually been true for the last 56 years. In fact, from 1950 onwards, we have been on a strong, stable, growing relationship. And that's something that we are taking forward. Now, what has also happened in the current moment is that both Russia and India are facing geopolitical and geoeconomic headwinds for various reasons, right? So if you look at India, we are at a situation where our rupee is sliding, and it's sliding largely because, well, rupee is a commodity, so there is a higher demand for dollar and a lesser demand for rupees because we are not able to export enough. And that has happened because the US put in a whole bunch of tariffs against India. These are not sanctions. In fact, US is not even authorized to sanction. And they have put these very usurious tariffs against India, which is against the WTO, to which both the US and India and the rest of the world are signatories to. And WTO was constructed by the West. So they made the rules of WTO and now they are violating it. And those are the issues which are also impacting Russia, where even though they were trying to follow the rules itself was getting violated, mended, and completely turned around. And therefore, both Russia and India seems to be in a similar boat. We have had challenges in terms of defense. Very recently, we saw what our Western neighbor did, where they instigated a conflict by using non-state actors, and they knew the response, and they kind of believed that they might have an upper hand in terms of the military hardware, but India turned out to be having the upper hand. A very similar situation is what even Russia is facing. From the trade perspective, it's getting the headwinds are driven by the West. It is also having an upper hand in the war, where the West kind of
Yes.
had dismissed that Russia will not be able to win that war, but they seem to be dominating it. Also, Russia is one of the fastest growing Western economies, while India is one of the fastest growing large economies. So we are both fastest growing in that sense, in the relevant senses. And Russia is almost 60% of India's GDP, which means that now the relationship between Russia and India is not one where Russia is looking out for India, which is truly what happened in, let's say, the 1971 war and conflicts before and after that.
Yes.
Here, it's a partnership of equals, which is where the word multipolar that President Putin put in is very, very significant. I mean, he is acknowledging the fact that India and Russia are now equal partners. And the three words that you use, Devika, I'm coming back to that, is which is growing, stable, robust. That relationship is now growing on the basis that the two are equal partners. They're going to
Okay.
contribute to each other. It shows up in the kind of defense relationship we have. We're not just buying hardware. We are contributing in developing new hardware, military hardware. We are selling to the rest of the world jointly, BrahMos being a great example. the BrahMos next generation NG being another great example. And therefore, the way the relationship is blooming is creating another pole in that sense.
Okay,
Also,
I'm going to come back to you. My apologies for interrupting you there, but I have to quickly go